smell, the travel,
Yeah.
journey, freedom. No, you know, it's not like
Deeper.
deep.
I'm Gard Hollinger,
I'm KEANU Reeves.
and we're here as representatives of Arch Motorcycle, and we're doing some audio recording for Cyberpunk 2077. Arch Motorcycle is a custom production motorcycle company. What's unique about it is that the motorcycles are built on a production platform, but each one is designed to be able to be personalized for each customer.
When CD Projekt Red approached me about doing Cyberpunk 2077, they also spoke about integrating. They were fans of, or I guess people who worked at the company were fans of Arch Motorcycle, and so they broached the idea of creating kind of specialized Cyberpunk 2077 version of the Arch Motorcycle. And I thought that was a very fine idea.
We have a motorcycle we've designed and we've been developing called the Method 143, and so that, I think in particular, was a creative inspiration for the designers. So they sort of used that as a basis and then went further. So it has a totally different, crazy looking power plant.
We did a little customization.
It's good. I like it.
Today we're capturing sounds, getting some actual sounds of a power plant, drivetrain, and characteristics of the motorcycle, which I'm sure they will, you know, have play with and stuff, but the source will be pure.
It has a sort of a racing engine in it compared to our production motorcycles. It has a dual exhaust system, and it sounds pretty
Sounds good.
I could definitely blindfolded tell that that's the Method 143-ish sounding motorcycle, yeah.
Nature of the role-playing aspect of the game, I think it'll be cool, like, to be on a bike and hearing that, going through the city streets and getting into the madness and mayhem.
I wouldn't write these lyrics for myself. So it's kind of interesting to get into like the mindset of who is this character and what would they write about, or what's their agenda. It's interesting to try to like catch a language that's his, and try to catch a language that's like part of this game. There is a reason why we're here.
It was Piotr maybe who was a fan of the band.
He knew Refuse and he knew my voice, and he said, oh, that's a perfect voice for Johnny.
And that they wanted, I guess, a sound that was a bit contemporary from when Johnny's supposed to have had the band, because he's sort of like an anti-establishment kind of guy.
Gonna drag a corporal rat on stage, make him kneel, douse him with gas, then light him up.
So of course there are things that you can relate to, and like just like this outcast and this rebel that's fighting against like the corporals, and that's definitely something that's been a part of my life and a part of Refused life.
We came out of the punk rock scene of northern Sweden.
He's like the future version of us, you know? So I think it makes sense. I think it totally makes sense for us to be here making these songs about him or for him, you know? So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. No trills. But yeah, but like wide vibrato.
And then, I mean, just sort of build, I mean,
Yeah.
slowly build sort of intensity.
We don't have a different mode than just going all in. So we really work on these songs, trying to make them as good as possible. But then they're not actually our songs.
It's interesting as a musician to play another musician, because that's essentially what we're doing. I mean, we're not here as Refused, we're here as Samurai. And I'm here with Johnny Silverhand, you know? So it's like the voice we're representing here is someone else.
We'll never fade away!
It's been a mind fuck.
I mean, the shouting in itself is just like second nature to me, because I've been doing this for a very long time. But then when someone comes in and says,
I'm happy with everything except for Azza Lim. Again, it's Azza. Azza. Okay.
the shouting's great, but think of that accent, or think of that like enunciation. It's a bit weird because it's a very different way of singing when you're screaming like that, and it's hard to sort of
Swallowing some syllables there.
adjust your accent.
Oh yeah, just try it again.
So it's been a bit kind of frustrating.
It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't great.
But I mean, I get it. I mean, we have to maintain the illusion that this character that's a character of the game also is me, like when I'm singing it. So it makes sense. But yeah, it's a bit different to have someone telling you exactly how to enunciate things, because I'm not used to, usually people are just like give me a thumbs up, and then like, you know, you think the things like the rhythm, and you think about the pitch, and you think about all these things, but then someone comes in and like, that word sounded weird. I'm like, what? No, that's how I sing. But so it's been a very, yeah, a bit painful at times, but it's all right.
See this soon, I'm chipping in. Roll the bones, I'm chipping in. Belt that cone, I'm chipping in. Mayhem flows.
It's a very interesting thing to be part of. As a person that's not a gamer, I don't think I fully understand the impact that this might have. If people like these songs and if people are excited, then that's going to be great. I mean, we are spending a lot of times trying to get this right, trying to get it to sound like, you know, like Samurai would sound, you know. So it's quite interesting. It's a very different way of making music, actually.
This was probably the most stressful E3 of my life, and I don't know why, but I just couldn't deal with the pressure. I was actually a shadow of myself at this E3.
Cyberpunk 2077, CD Projekt Red's first deviation from the Witcher universe, is an action-oriented, narrative-driven open-world RPG.
Which is a mouthful.
The game was announced in 2012 and officially revealed in a teaser trailer in 2013. But after that, there was nothing.
After the teaser, we kind of went dormant. There was silence for 4 or 5 years, which for me and for my community team was very hard because, you know, people were very excited about the game.
When we first announced the Cyberpunk, we had a certain vision of where we want to take it.
The main difference between a pen and paper RPG and the PC game still to this date is that ultimately, while video games are nicer to look at, the freedom that you have in a pen and paper RPG is something that we have yet to achieve in any game, I would say. We can't just take what is the source material and just, all right, we'll make a video game around it, but we have to be smart about it.
Being smart takes time and experimentation. Over the last 5 years, the Cyberpunk development team has been crafting an experience that they hope exceeds the expectations of fans of both the original franchise and of CD Projekt's previous output.
The reason why you can't really go out and just show everything is because video game development is such an iterative process, right? What we have now might not be there tomorrow. So we've had ideas that have died over the years, then they have been resurrected, then they died again, and now they're back.
Cyberpunk 2077 isn't only set 50 years after the source material, but it also takes place in a parallel timeline. This gave the team the freedom to create a game that respected and referenced the source material, but also suited the shift to the video game medium. For example, it was vital that the player's character, V, be fully customizable. This was a real shift for a company associated with an incredibly iconic character like Geralt.
For us, it's important to give players this freedom, to allow them to play themselves in our world and really immerse themselves. That is also part why we have the first-person perspective, right? Because you don't play as someone else, but you play as I.
Got a window on the left, go!
The move to first person is essential to convey the scale and verticality of Night City, the game's sprawling, neon-soaked hub. But this change in perspective, combined with a completely new style of navigation, including the ability to drive, brings with it a new set of design challenges.
It's easy to make an open world that when you're on foot feels huge. But if you're in a car, it's 10 minutes. One feels like a huge world, the other like a not so huge world. And how do you balance that? How do you create the feeling of vastness? But those are the cool things when you challenge yourself to sort of push forward into new uncharted territory, right? And you try to find new solutions to these problems.
At E3 2018, CD Projekt Red finally revealed the first gameplay of Cyberpunk 2077 to a select audience of media and invited guests.
We were so nervous and anxious to learn what people will say about the game because the hype was unreal.
Soon word spread that it was the must-see game of the show. The team left E3 with over 100 media awards. But for the community of PlayStation gamers who had waited so long to see the game in action, the words of the media weren't enough. They had to see it for themselves. 2 months later, their wish came true when all 48 minutes of the playthrough was made public.
Their overall sentiment was amazing and the reception was great. So it was just very rejuvenating for us to basically see those reactions and we're just like, whew, okay, cool, we got it.
Well done, Leslie, well done.
Cyberpunk 2077 may no longer be the mystery it once was, but work on it is far from over. True to the promise made in 2013, it's still coming when it's ready.
Hi, my name is Sarah Watling. I am the CEO of Jolly Research in Toronto, Ontario. In this video, we're going to show you a little bit about Jolly the software and Jolly in action within the world of Cyberpunk 2077.
Maintenant, tu vas répondre à mes questions honnêtement, sans détour.
Rayfield's mine.
Скажи заплатить 2 раза, заплатишь 2 раза!
Jolly is a suite of tools and a suite of services that result in what we think is the coolest and best and highest quality facial performance on characters.
Oh, is that supposed to sound familiar?
It's automatically generated on a face based on audio dialogue, audio speech from a voice actor.
Slow, deep breaths. Your cortisol and adrenaline spiked, but the soft activated your hormone blockers. Nothing happened. You're alive and well.
What Jolly tries to do is it tries to get to the root of what is being expressed in the vocal performance and put that on a 3D character.
That's Rogue. Best fixer in all of Night City.
There is just an incredible amount of performance in this game.
Sure.
A procedural solution allows you to animate over and over and over again at tremendous scale. Jolly is what powers every single character in the game of Cyberpunk 2077 in all of the languages that the game has been localized for.
Ahora escúchame. Este mierdas de Anthony Gilchrist. ¿Es tu contacto? Hat Infos zum Konvoi durchsickern lassen?
All you're doing is changing an attribute. For example, speech style. If you wanted your character to shout instead of mumble, instead of issuing a set of commands that redo the animation, instead you click an attribute going from, in this case, mumble to shout.
But you walk. You breathe, but you walk. You breathe, but you walk. You breathe.
If the lip sync is right, you don't notice. If the faces match and match the performance, you don't notice because you're too busy paying attention to how awesome the game is, how much you care about these characters, what you're gonna do. And that's what we want. That to me is, that's the sizzle.
Don't you know you owe the sheriff a word when you pay his town a visit? To tell him what's brought you here. Maybe even over a cup of coffee.